Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, February 21st, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games. Look ahead to tonight and the weekend slate in each of those sports. American Idol is on Sunday night. I want to preview the episode a little bit. Another big injury for the New York Yankees as spring training's underway. I want to preview the Tyson Fury and the Wilder fight, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start in college basketball. Some interesting results last night that I like to get to, and then looking ahead to what should be a interesting weekend of games. So, without further ado, here we go. Longwood over SC Upstate, 68-58. Number 20, Iowa over number 25, Ohio State, 85-76. Hofstra over Drexel, 81-74. Delaware over Northeastern, 70-48. Elan over James Madison, 70-62. UMBC over Albany, 69-50. William & Mary over Towson, 61-51. Northern Kentucky over Cleveland State, 73-59. Hampton over Gardner-Webb, 87-77. High Point over Presbyterian, 82-70. Indiana State over Northern Iowa, 67-64. Belmont over Morehead State, 80-67. Temple over UConn, 93-89 in double overtime. Wichita State over South Florida, 65-55. Lipscomb over Jacksonville, 68-67. NJIT over Stetson, 78-69. North Alabama over Kennesaw State, 65-46. Liberty over North Florida, 82-77. Binghamton over UMass Lowell, 86-84. New Hampshire over Hartford, 67-63 in overtime. Vermont over Stony Brook, 63-54. South Alabama over Appalachian State, 78-70. Coastal Carolina over Troy, 90-60. Omaha over Purdue Fort Wayne, 61-59. Youngstown State over Wright State, 88-70. Campbell over Charleston Southern, 66-51. Eastern Kentucky over Tennessee State, 83-62. Number 24, Arizona over Oregon State, 83-63. Austin Peay over SIU Edwardsville, 78-60. Southern Illinois over Evansville, 70-53. Texas State over Georgia Southern, 70-55. Texas Arlington over Georgia State, 70-62. Tennessee Tech over Tennessee Martin, 78-65. Michigan State over Nebraska, 86-65. Jacksonville State over Southeast Missouri State, 65-58. Eastern Illinois over Murray State, 63-60. Arizona State over number 14 Oregon, 77-72. Number 18 Colorado over USC, 70-66. BYU, number 23 BYU over Santa Clara, 85-75. Radford over UNC Asheville, 79-64. Northern Colorado over Southern Utah, 68-66. Denver over Oral Roberts, 196 in overtime. Pepperdine over Portland, 66-59. Utah Valley over Cal State Bakersfield, 72-58. Eastern Washington over Sacramento State, 77-76. Northern Arizona over Idaho, 78-61. UC Davis over Cal Poly, 77-62. Cal State Fullerton loses at home to UC Santa Barbara, 75-66. Seattle over Grand Canyon, 95-89. Stanford over Washington, 72-64. Portland State over Montana State, 87-77. UCLA over Utah, 69-58. Number 2 Gonzaga over San Francisco, 71-54. Hawaii over UC Riverside, 56-55. St. Mary's over Loyola Marymount, 57-51. Tonight's slate is small. 5 o'clock, you have Sacred Heart at Merrimack. 7 o'clock, ESPNU Canisius at Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac's a 2-point favorite. I have Quinnipiac by 6.5. That's a big discrepancy. I am going to lay the 2 at Quinnipiac. I think that they're the better team than Canisius. They're playing well right now. So give me Quinnipiac minus the 2. I think that's easy money. Niagara at Fairfield. Rider at Iona. St. Peter's at Manhattan. Monmouth at Marist. Brown at Columbia. Yale at Cornell. Penn at Dartmouth. Princeton at Harvard. Green Bay at Detroit Mercy. Buffalo at Kent State. Mount St. Mary's at Robert Morris at 7:30. Bryant at St. Francis, Brooklyn. Central Connecticut State at Wagner. LIU at Fairleigh Dickinson. Milwaukee at Oakland. VCU at St. Louis, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. VCU is a 2-point favorite. I'm going to take the 2 at St. Louis at home. I think that this is a big spot for them. I think that the winner of this game has a puncher's chance at an at-large. The at-large bubble is bad compared to recent years. So just take the home dog here at St. Louis plus the 2 against VCU. And one more game I forgot to pick that's on TV is Buffalo, Kent State on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock. Kent State's a 4-point favorite. I'm taking Buffalo plus the 4. I have this Kent by 2. I think this is a competitive game. These two teams, I think, are pretty darn close to even. Although my numbers say Buffalo is better on a neutral. So give me Buffalo plus the 4. I give them a chance to win this game outright. On to Saturday's college basketball slate. Very, 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 very busy slate. Obviously, so many big games and whatnot. And what is the biggest game of the season? 12 o'clock ESPN, number 3 Kansas at number 1 Baylor. I expect Baylor to be favored in this game at home. I can't wait to see what the line is. I haven't done my projections yet because I still have to update them because of results. But I'm just going to pick the straight-up winners, as you know. Baylor. 12 o'clock CBS, Tennessee at number 13, Auburn. Fox, Marquette at Providence. Let's go with Providence, home upset. ESPN2, Virginia at Pitt, Virginia. Tulane at UCF on ESPNU, UCF. Wofford at Furman, UNC Greensboro at VMI. Middle Tennessee at Southern Miss. Now we're into the 1 o'clock games. SEC Network, Missouri at Arkansas. We're going to go with Arkansas in the bounce back and home. Hampton at Winthrop, Eastern Michigan at Ball State. Cal Baptist at Chicago State. 1:30 CBS Sports Network, Army at Navy. We'll take Navy at home. Duquesne at number 5, Dayton. At 2 o'clock, we'll go with Dayton. ESPNU, number 17, West Virginia at TCU. West Virginia needs this game or else there's going to be talk about them being like a 5 seed in the tournament. Number 22, Houston at Memphis. We'll go with Houston on the road. Northeastern at Drexel. Alon at Towson. Toledo at Western Michigan. ESPN Michigan at Purdue. This Purdue team is not good. I can't wait till people accept it, but I think that they're going to beat Michigan here. I really do. Texas at Kansas State will go with Shaka Smart's team on the road. Northern Kentucky at Youngstown State. South Alabama at Coastal Carolina. Number 12 Villanova at Xavier, 2:30 on Fox. We'll go with the X-Men at home in an upset. SMU at Tulsa at 3 o'clock on ESPN News. We'll go with Tulsa at home. Wright State at Cleveland State, Louisiana at UL Monroe, Georgia Southern at Texas Arlington, Omaha at Western Illinois, Tennessee at Moore State, Murray State at SCU Edwardsville, East Tennessee State at Sanford, Loyola Chicago at Missouri State, 3:30 on CBS Sports Network. We're going to go with Loyola Chicago on the road. SEC Network, Mississippi State at Texas A&M. We'll go with the Bulldogs on the road. 4 o'clock on the ACC Network, number 8 Florida State at NC State. We'll go with NC State in another home upset. Do I feel good about it? No. ESPN, North Carolina, number 11, Louisville. I think Louisville wins big over North Carolina. 4 o'clock CBS, UCLA at number 18, Colorado. UCLA is playing a lot better in conference play, but I don't think they win this one. I like Colorado here at home. Georgia Tech at Syracuse. Let's go with Syracuse. And the game's on ACC Network. Florida Gulf Coast, NJIT. UMass at Fordham on ESPN Plus. We'll go with UMass on the road. LaSalle at George Washington. We'll go with George Washington home in an upset. What might be an upset, I don't know. I don't think it would be, never mind. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State on ESPN2. We'll go with Oklahoma State at home. And that would be an upset. Miami of Ohio at Akron. William and Mary at James Madison. Hofstra at Delaware. Hartford at Binghamton. San Jose State at Colorado State. We'll go Colorado State at home. Wyoming at Air Force. We'll take Air Force at home. Nichols at Central Arkansas. Troy at App State. Grand Canyon at Union Valley. SC State at Bethune-Cookman. Delaware State at Coppin State. Norfolk State at Florida A&M. Howard at NC A&T. Maryland Eastern at NC Central. Louisiana Tech at North Texas. IPY at UIC. 4:15, Ossipee at Eastern Illinois. 4:30, Drake at Illinois State. We'll take Drake on the road. New Orleans at McNeese. Mercer at Chattanooga. Presbyterian at UNC Asheville. SC Upstate at Radford. Ohio at Bowling Green. Central Michigan at Northern Illinois. St. Joe's at George Mason. We'll take George Mason at home. Lipscomb at North Florida at 5 o'clock. Sacramento State at Idaho. Abilene Christian at Southeast Louisiana. Campbell at Gardner-Webb. Stetson at Liberty. SC Missouri State at Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Martin at Jacksonville State. Little Rock at Arkansas State. Georgia State at Texas State. Texas Southern at Mississippi Valley State. Northern Arizona at Eastern Washington. 5:15, Stephen F. Austin at Descartes at Word. 5:30, CBS Sports Network. Rhode Island at Davidson. We'll take Rhode Island on the road. A&M Corpus Christi at Lamar. 6 o'clock, ESPN Florida at number 10, Kentucky. We're taking the Wildcats at home. Brown at Cornell. Cal at Washington on the Pac-12 Network. We'll take Washington at home in what should be the bounce-back spot that they're looking for. Texas Tech at Iowa State on ESPNU. We're taking Texas Tech on the road. Kennesaw State at Jacksonville. Clemson at Boston College. We're taking BC at home. Georgia at Vandy on the SEC Network. I'm going to take... Oh, my goodness. I want to take Vandy for the home upset, but I can't. We're going to take Georgia, but I don't feel good about it. ESPN2, LSU at South Carolina. I'm going to take South Carolina here in a home upset. Pepperdine at San Francisco. We're going to take San Francisco at home. Southern at Alabama State. Alcorn State at Alabama A&M at 6:30. Richmond at St. Bonaventure. We're going to take Bonaventure at home. But Richmond needs this game for its at-large chances. Houston Baptist at Sam Houston State. Yale at Columbia at 7 o'clock. Princeton at Dartmouth. Penn at Harvard. Maine at Stony Brook. New Hampshire at Albany. UMBC at Vermont. Charleston at UNC Wilmington. Hawaii at Long Beach State. High Point at Longwood. Charlotte at Western Kentucky. UAB at FAU. Old Dominion at Marshall. Rice at UTEP. Belmont at Eastern Kentucky. UNLV at number 4 San Diego State on the CBS Sports Network. I'm going to take San Diego State to go 27-0. The Citadel at Western Carolina, 8 o'clock ESPN2. Virginia Tech at number 6 Duke. Duke's going to win that game going away. San Diego at St. Mary's. North Dakota State at North Dakota. Bradley at Valparaiso. We're going to take Bradley on the road. ESPNU, Oregon State at Arizona State. I think Arizona State wins a close game, although I could see them losing outright to Oregon State in the letdown spot. Alabama at Ole Miss at 8:30 on the SEC Network. We're going to take Ole Miss at home. Prairie View at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Jackson State at Grambling. 9 o'clock ESPN, number 14 Oregon at number 24 Arizona. I'm going to take Oregon here on the road in what should be a bounce-back spot. I don't love Arizona this year, and I think Oregon is the more talented team. So give me Oregon on the road, led by Peyton Pritchard. Texas Rio Grande at New Mexico State. Northern Colorado at Idaho State. Montana at Montana State. Southern Utah at Weber State. Fox Sports 1, Georgetown at DePaul. This feels like the spot that DePaul's going to pick somebody off. I'm going to pull the trigger and pick DePaul. ESPN 2, number 2 Gonzaga, number 23 BYU. Is this the spot where BYU finally gets its signature win? I'm going to say no. I'm going to pick Gonzaga until I see some signs. So give me Gonzaga on the road. UC Riverside at Cal Poly, UC Davis at UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine at Cal State Northridge, Cal State Bakersfield at Seattle, Fresno State at Nevada on ESPNU. I'm going to take Nevada at home. William Marymount at Portland. I'm going to take Portland at home. Santa Clara at Pacific. I'm taking Pacific at home. Sunday, February 23rd, 12 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, number 9 Penn State at Indiana. I'm taking the Hoosiers at home. They need this game. ESPNU, Temple at East Carolina. I'm going with Temple on the road. Don't feel good about it, though. America at Boston University. Bucknell at Lehigh. 1 o'clock, Sacramento at Bryant. Milwaukee at Detroit Mercy. ESPN, Wichita State at Cincinnati. Tough one. I think Cincinnati needs it. I think they'll get it. So give me Cincinnati at home for Wichita State. Big Ten Network, Rutgers at Wisconsin. I'm going to take Wisconsin. 2 o'clock CBS, St. John's at number 16, Seton Hall. I'm going to take Seton Hall at home. Although I think this game may be closer than people think, because Seton Hall's been in a lot of close calls lately. CBS Sports Network, South Florida at UConn. I'm going to take UConn at home. Canisius at Manhattan, Siena at Fairfield, Niagara at Marist, Quinnipiac at Monmouth, Rider at St. Peter's, Loyola Maryland at Lafayette, Holy Cross at Colgate, Indiana State at Evansville, ESPNU, Southern Illinois at Northern Iowa. I'm going to take Northern Iowa at home in a bounce-back spot. Merrimack at Mount St. Mary's at 3 o'clock, South Dakota at South Dakota State, Green Bay at Oakland, Minnesota at Northwestern on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to take Minnesota on the road. Robert Morris at Fairleigh Dickinson at 3:30. 4 o'clock CBS, number 7, Maryland at number 25, Ohio State. This is a big game. The Terps are playing great, but I kind of have a feeling that the Buckeyes are going to pull off the home upset. They're pretty good at home. I think it's a good spot for them to show people that they can be a force to be reckoned with. So give me the Buckeyes here at home. Fox Sports 1, number 21, Butler, number 15, Creighton. This is a fantastic game. Great players on each side. Kamar Baldwin on Butler, and then Tyshawn Alexander and Creighton. I'm going to go with Creighton at home. LIU at St. Francis, Pennsylvania. CBS Sports Network, New Mexico at Boise State. I'm going to take Boise State at home. Wagner at St. Francis, Brooklyn. 6 o'clock ESPNU. USC at Utah. Give me... Let's go with USC on the road. They need this one for their tournament hopes. Miami at Notre Dame. Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame still in play for an at-large, I think. And then Stanford at Washington State on ESPNU. I'm going to take Stanford on the road, but I do not feel good about it. Now we'll talk some NBA. We're going to go over last night's slate and look ahead to what should be a busy weekend in the association. Bucks over the Pistons, 126-106. Hawks over the Heat, 129-124. Hornets over the Bulls, 103-93. 76ers over the Nets, 112-104. Kings over the Grizzlies, 129-125. And Rockets over the Warriors, 135-105. Tonight's slate, 7 o'clock, you have the Cavs at the Wizards. The Mavericks at the Magic. 7:30, the Pacers at the Knicks. The Suns at the Raptors. 8 o'clock ESPN, the Nuggets at the Thunder. Should be a fun game tonight in Oklahoma City. The Thunder are a 1-point favorite. I would make this a pick'em. Tough call, but numbers say take the Nuggets in the point. I like this Thunder team a lot. I do think they'll probably win this game, but this is just too rough of a spot and a number to really play it. But numbers say take Nuggets +1 because I have it as a pick'em. But I do think Oklahoma City will win the game. Celtics at the Timberwolves, 9 o'clock Spurs at the Jazz, 10:30 ESPN. The Pelicans at the Trailblazers. How the hell is New Orleans a 4.5-point favorite at Portland? Oh, no Damian Lillard. Right. I think Damian Lillard is worth 4 points to the spread. I think Giannis is worth 5. I think Dame is worth 4. I think Harden's worth 5. LeBron, I think, is worth 5. Davis, I think, is worth 3. There's a couple guys that are worth some points. With Lillard, it's Blazers by 3. And without Lillard, I'd make this New Orleans by 1. So I'm going to take Portland in the points. Everyone's going to be on New Orleans and Zion, yada, yada, yada. I don't think Portland will win, but I think this will be a competitive game as CJ McCollum will keep them in it. And then the Grizzlies at the Lakers is the other 10:30 game. So John Moran against the Lakers should be fun. Saturday, 3:30, Kings at the Clippers. 7 o'clock, the Nets at the Hornets. 7:30, the Mavs at the Hawks. 8 o'clock, the Cavaliers at the Heat. The Suns at the Bulls, 8:30 ABC. The 76ers at the Bucks. Should be a fun game. I think this is going to be Mark Jones and Hubie Brown. And then the big three will be on the other game because it's Celtics-Lakers. And the 76ers have underachieved. They're last year's Celtics. That's what the Sixers are. I've heard that comparison all year long, and they're right because everybody and their brother picked the Sixers to come out of the East this year. And last year, everybody and their brother picked the Celtics to come out of the East. And both of these teams are clearly not that good. Going to win their first round series, maybe. And then they'll lose in the second round to the Bucks in 5. I think the Bucks are going to kill the Sixers again. And at 9 o'clock, the Rockets at the Jazz. Sunday, 3:30 ABC, Celtics-Lakers. I think this is going to be Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy. This is the better game of the two. Should be a fun game. I think the Lakers will win. think this is going to be more competitive. Celtics will stay competitive because they like playing the Lakers. They killed the Lakers when they played each other at the Staples Center. At TD Garden, but this is at Staples Center. This is the first time the Celtics are playing there since the death of Kobe Bryant. Obviously, it's the case for all the Eastern teams pretty much, unless if they played there already. So, meaning a random East team has played there since Kobe. But give me the Lakers at home. NBA TV, 6 o'clock, Timberwolves at the Nuggets, Pacers at the Raptors, 7 o'clock, Wizards at the Bulls, Spurs at the Thunder, 8:30 NBA TV, the Pelicans at the Warriors, and 9 o'clock you have the Pistons at the Trailblazers. Now we'll do NHL. We'll go over the slate from last night and look ahead to the weekend. Maple Leafs over the Penguins 4-0, Devils over the Sharks 2-1, Canadiens over the Capitals 4-3 in overtime on a goal by Ben Sherratt. Flyers over the Blue Jackets 4-3 in a shootout. In overtime on a goal by Kevin Hayes. Jets over the Senators 5-1. Coyotes lose at the Blues 1-0. Golden Knights over the Coyotes 5-3. Or Golden Knights over the Lightning 5-3. That's a good win for Vegas. Kings over the Panthers 5-4. Tonight's slate. 7 o'clock, Rangers at the Hurricanes. 8 o'clock, Red Wings at the Islanders. 8:30, Predators at the Blackhawks. Blues at the Stars. 9 o'clock, the Bruins at the Flames. The Wild at the Oilers. 10 o'clock, the Avalanche at the Ducks. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Capitals at the Devils. Jets at the Flyers. Sabres at the Penguins. 7 o'clock, Hurricanes at the Maple Leafs. Sharks at the Rangers. Canadiens at the Senators. Blue Jackets at the Predators at 8 o'clock. Lightning at the Coyotes. Bruins at the Canucks at 10 o'clock. Panthers at the Golden Knights. And 10:30 Avs at the Kings. Sunday, 12 o'clock NBC, Penguins Capitals. This is a fantastic game. These two teams are obviously tied for first place in the Metropolitan Division. Daka and Rickety Olczyk, Brian Boucher and the call. One of the best games you'll see on national TV all season. I think it'll be close. I think that it's a huge win for NBC if Ovechkin scores 700 on national TV on big NBC. Let me double check. Oh, they're playing at the Devils on Saturday. So, if he doesn't score in that game, then NBC is going to be fired up for the chance for them to get Ovechkin to score 700. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win this game on the road. They're just playing better hockey. They've established themselves as a Stanley Cup contender with all the moves they've made in the offseason and via trade. So give me the Penguins here on the road. They tend to play well in D.C. too. 3 o'clock, the Jets at the Sabres, the Blackhawks at the Stars. 5 o'clock, the Sharks at the Islanders. 7 o'clock, the Flames at the Red Wings. 7:30 NBCSN, the Blues at the Wild. I'm going to take the Blues on the road. They are way better than the Wild, who are playing with an intern coach right now. 10 o'clock NBCSN, the Golden Knights at the Ducks. This is another lousy game. Why are the Ducks on NBCSN? Vegas is going to win that one by multiple goals. So give me the Knights there on the road. I love the parlay. Blues and Golden Knights puck lines for Sunday. That'd be pretty neat. And then the Penguins on the money line. That'd be pretty neat. And then Oilers at the Kings is also on Sunday night. A big injury in spring training has emerged. Luis Severino of the New York Yankees has experienced some forearm soreness. That is brutal. There's people that think that he's going to end up with Tommy John surgery. And if that's the case, then the Yankees must make a move for a starting pitcher again at the trade deadline, or at least before it, because they don't have James Paxton the first couple months of the season. Aaron Judge has a bad shoulder. This is a bad spring training for the Yankees already with 3 injuries with Judge, Paxton, and Severino. But Brian Cashman did say it could be nothing or it could be significant, and they better hope it's the former rather than the latter. And if Severino is okay for the beginning of the season, then it's a win. And if he's out for as long as James Paxton's out, like 2 months or longer, it's a big loss. Worst case scenario, Tommy John surgery, see you in 2021. Best case scenario, he's there for the start of the season and it's nothing. Because elbow stuff is kind of fluky. Like Masahiro Tanaka, everybody thought he was going to get Tommy John surgery. Meanwhile, he hasn't yet. And it's been at least 4 years since he had that elbow ligament thing, or even 6 years. And he's still on the Yankees, pitching somewhat well. So elbows are kind of weary sometimes. And like I said, this has the potential to be a big loss for the Yankees, and it would put immense pressure on them to get a co-ace to go with Garrett Cole in that rotation at the deadline, or maybe somebody on the level of Luis Severino. Like, they better hope the Indians suck this year so they can get like Mike Clevenger or Shane Bieber or something like that. Like, Mike Clevenger would be the perfect pickup for this team. He's arguably better than Luis Severino and James Paxton. He'd be a great number 2 behind Garrett Cole. And I think he's the most underrated pitcher in baseball and has one of the best contracts in baseball, too, in terms of a team-friendly standpoint. 3 years left. So, they're under some pressure to make a move because, I'm sorry, Luis Sessa and Jordan Montgomery are not the answer to a championship rotation. And neither is the opener, because that got exposed in the playoffs. Oh, wait. He got exposed by a team that cheated, so never mind. So Chad Green, that did work out for them a lot in the opener spot throughout the season, and then the cheating Astros exposed Chad Green. So that's an asterisk there. That it was because it was the Astros in Houston too. 3-run homer by Yuli Gurriel in the first inning of Game 6 in that series. So yeah. So you could argue either way, because they did lose to a team that cheated last year. And the last 3 years, by the way. Because the Red Sox in 18 cheated, and the Astros in 17 obviously cheated. There is a major fight on tomorrow night in the boxing world. It's awesome. You got Tyson Fury going up against Deontay Wilder. Should be a great fight. Right now, according to DraftKings, Wilder is currently minus 125 and Fury's plus 105. I love Fury. I think Fury's going to win. I think he's motivated by the fact that Wilder trash-talked him about his health, and he called him out for being suicidal. So I think that's going to motivate Fury, and karma's a bitch sometimes, and we all know that. So give me Fury to upset Wilder in what should be a absolutely bloodbath of a fight. Now I want to talk about American Idol quickly. Sunday night on ABC. Last week was a pretty emotional one. This upcoming episode, I think, has more like the funnier auditions that they just said no to. And then there's a couple emotional auditions as well. So should be a really good episode. A couple hours after the Laker game. They show clips from Savannah, Milwaukee, D.C., L.A., and Sun River. And like I said, should be a pretty fun and entertaining episode. Probably more entertaining than last week. But there is some more emotional auditions and whatnot. One more thing before we go. I want to preview the XFL games for the weekend. And also look back on last week's games as well. Last week, Defenders over the Guardians 27-0. Dragons over the Vipers 17-9. Renegades over the Wildcats 25-18, and the Roughnecks over the Battlehawks 28-24. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock on ABC, the Roughnecks at the Vipers. I'm not going to do my lines and stuff yet because I want to wait till after 3 weeks to do projections and whatnot. Houston's a 6-point favorite at the Vipers. The Vipers are due. They're due to come out and have a good performance. Everyone's going to be on the Roughnecks. Everyone. So give me the Vipers plus the 6. I think they can win this game outright to get their season back on the right path. 5 o'clock on Fox, you have the Renegades at the Dragons. Dallas is a 4.5-point favorite at Seattle. Seattle won last week as a dog against Tampa. This Dallas team's pretty good. Cardell Jones is their quarterback. Actually, no, Cardell Jones is the quarterback of D.C. But Dallas has some talent on their team. I'm going to take Seattle plus the 4.5, but Dallas to win the game, if that makes sense. Sunday, you have the Guardians at the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks are a 10-point favorite. It's been a tale of 2 weeks for the Guardians. They dominate in week 1, and then they lay an egg in week 2. Battlehawks coming home for the home opener in St. Louis. That crowd is going to be so fired up. It's going to be an emotional game. I think the Battlehawks will win, but I'm going to take the Guardians plus the 10. 6 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, the Defenders at the Wildcats. DC's an 8-point favorite. This is the only favor I'm going to lay with. The Wildcats are the worst team in the league. So give me the DC Defenders minus the 8. I think they win by double digits tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, on Sunday. Best bets of the night or the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going to lay the 2 at Quinnipiac against Canisius. I think that's free money. And then for an NBA best bet, Cavs Wizards, I would make Washington by 9.5. I'd make the Magic getting 3. They're getting 4. So the Wizards are giving 5.5. I'd make it 9.5. That's a 4-point discrepancy. Mavs, Magic, I'd make this 3. Pacers, Knicks, I'd make it Pacers by 7. It's 6.5. Suns at the Raptors. It's Raptors by 8. I would make this 11.5. Raptors. Boston and Minnesota. Boston's currently giving 7.5. But I would make this 11.5. Thunder are giving 1.5. I mentioned before I'd make that a pick'em. Spurs at the Jazz. The Jazz are giving 7. I would make this Jazz by 11.5. Lakers are giving 10.5 at home against the Grizzlies. I'd make that 12. And then the Pelicans are giving 4.5 at the Blazers. I'd make that Pelicans by 1 without Damian Lillard. So NBA best bet. Tough call. But I'm going to go with the Wizards. The Cavs are a dysfunctional mess. They got rid of Beeline. And they're the worst team in the East. So give me the Wizards minus 5.5. And I think Bradley Beal will go off in that game. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend, everyone.